Assisting us in the opining. Normally we have at this time our friends from Talk Radio News Service, but right now we're going to have old buddy Robert Weiner. We had to bump him from an earlier time. We ran along with Liz Cheney. Bob Weiner is Democratic strategist, columnist, and former communications director for Clinton Drug Czar General Barry McCaffrey. He's also former chief of staff of the House Committee on Aging. Bob, good to have you back.
It's a pleasure, and I appreciate being bumped by Cheney. I guess I know a big name that can trump me.
Well, we're glad to have you on now. Listen, Bob, we're hearing a lot of back and forth. This thing lit up the airwaves, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be all that harmful to Romney, as I've been noticing how a lot of things that should have hurt him thus far haven't, because the polls still have these guys very neck and neck.
All right, well, Alan, let me say that Romney hasn't been dumped on enough when he said that 47% don't pay taxes. When you look at the numbers, and 20 up to 47%.
Federal income tax. Federal. You can make a point, but it can't be premised. No, it can't be predicated on a wrongful premise.
All right, you're not going to let me make the correction, or then I will it.
Oh, no, make the correction. Go ahead. Make the real correction, though.
28% pay payroll tax. 10% are elderly who pay Social Security. 7% are non-elderly who make under $20,000. So you're left with 1 to 2%. And if he wants to say that 1 to 2% are moochers, I agree. But to say that 47% is moochers is BS. And I won't say the words on your air because that's what it is. That those people, you have all but 1% that have paid or are paying federal taxes. Payroll tax is a federal tax, by the way. Social Security taxes, that they get nothing from us. He proved that trickle-down doesn't work because the tax breaks that he's talking about won't do any benefit to the people who really need them.
Well, as we look at the Wall Street Journal, they have an interesting take on this. They're saying that Mitt Romney said 47% of Americans would almost automatically vote for President Barack Obama because they were dependent on the government, in part because they received government benefits and paid no federal income taxes. They go on to say that in a press conference, they go on to say, here's a rundown of the data behind Mr. Romney's arguments, some of which he correctly stated and other parts of which don't hold up so well. And they go on to say this, entitlements. According to the Census Bureau, 49% of Americans in the second quarter of 2011 lived in a household where at least one member received a government benefit. The total population at the time was 305 million. Now, that's up from 30% in the 1980s and 44.4% in the third quarter of 2008, a recent growth in part attributable to the bad economy of President Obama's first term.
Is that the blame for it? By the way, which are you going to cut out? Social Security, student loans, although he would get your money from your parents, Medicare, Medicaid. What are you going to cut out?
Pardon me?
What are you going to cut out? Which of those programs are you going to cut so you drop the number? And by the way, the economy... That's a disconnected measure. And this is the problem I'm having with the Democrats right now, because they every time they're confronted about overspending, they always point to the people who would be harmed if that overspending stopped. But by that measure, then the consequences for overspending now become the grounds for not stopping it. Well, that's the perfect recipe to escape accountability in perpetuity. You and I both know that. The waste is in the wars, and that's what we have to cut to get our budget right.